Natural remedies often feel like the safest and simplest way to improve our health, and onions have long been a popular choice in many home treatments. But what if I told you that in some cases, onions might actually make things worse? Many people don't realize that this humble kitchen staple can aggravate certain health conditions. So, before you reach for onions in your next remedy, stay with me until the end to find out which health problems might mean it's time to avoid them entirely. If you've ever experienced stomach pain, bloating, or discomfort after a meal, you're not alone. Many people, especially those with a sensitive stomach or IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, face these challenges daily. Onions, while full of nutrients, can be surprisingly harsh on the digestive system for some people. They contain a type of carbohydrate called FODMAPs, which are notorious for causing gas and bloating. FODMAPs are hard for your body to digest and ferment quickly in your gut, leading to uncomfortable symptoms like cramps, bloating, and even diarrhea. For those with IBS, the impact can be much worse. The delicate balance in their digestive system means that even small amounts of onions, whether raw, cooked, or in powdered form, can lead to flare-ups that ruin their day. Some people try to use onion-based remedies for colds or general health, not realizing that they might be worsening their digestive issues. If you have a sensitive stomach or IBS, it's better to avoid onions altogether. Instead, consider alternatives like garlic-infused oil, which has the flavor without the FODMAPs, or herbs like chives or parsley, to add taste without upsetting your digestion. And remember, my friend, your gut health is the foundation of your overall well-being, so treat it kindly. Have you ever felt that uncomfortable burning sensation in your chest after eating? That's acid reflux or heartburn, and for many people, onions are one of the biggest culprits. Onions, especially when eaten raw, can relax the lower esophageal sphincter, a small muscle that acts as a gate between your stomach and your esophagus. When this muscle relaxes too much, stomach acid can escape into the esophagus, causing that painful burning feeling. For people who suffer from chronic acid reflux or GERD, gastroesophageal reflux disease, onions can turn an already uncomfortable condition into a nightmare. Raw onions are the worst offenders, but even cooked onions can trigger symptoms for some people. And if you're someone who relies on onion remedies, like onion tea for colds or onion juice for other health concerns, you could accidentally be making your acid reflux worse without realizing it. The solution: if you're prone to heartburn, it's best to skip onions entirely or use them sparingly in cooked form, as cooking reduces their potency. Focus on low-acid, reflux-friendly foods like bananas, oatmeal, or ginger tea to help keep your symptoms under control. Taking care of your stomach doesn't mean giving up on flavor. It just means choosing ingredients that work with your body, not against it. Onions may be a kitchen staple for many, but for some people, they're more trouble than they're worth. If you're allergic to onions or have a sensitivity to them, your body can react in several unpleasant ways. Symptoms of an onion allergy can range from mild, such as itching or swelling in the mouth, to more severe reactions like stomach pain, nausea, or even difficulty breathing. Onion sensitivity, on the other hand, is less about the immune system and more about how your body tolerates onions. It might leave you feeling bloated, gassy, or generally uncomfortable after eating them. And here's the tricky part. Onions aren't just in your food. They're often used in remedies for colds, hair care, or even skin treatments. Applying onion juice to your skin or scalp, for example, could cause redness, itching, or irritation if you're sensitive to it. If you've ever noticed unusual symptoms after eating or using onions, it's time to listen to your body. Avoid onions in all forms, raw, cooked, powdered, or as part of home remedies, and look for alternatives that won't trigger a reaction. For cooking, try using celery or fennel for flavor. And for remedies, consider gentler options like aloe vera or coconut oil. After all, it's not worth risking your health for something your body clearly doesn't agree with. Did you know that onions have a natural ability to thin the blood? While this might sound like a good thing, it can actually be risky for people who are already taking blood thinner medications like aspirin or warfarin. These medications are designed to prevent blood clots, which can reduce the risk of strokes or heart attacks. However, when combined with the natural blood-thinning properties of onions, the effect can become too strong. When your blood is too thin, you may bruise more easily, experience prolonged bleeding from small cuts, or even risk internal bleeding, which can be life-threatening. For example, imagine getting a small injury, and instead of healing quickly, the bleeding doesn't stop as it normally would. This happens because onions, much like blood thinner medications, work to reduce the blood's ability to clot. If you're someone who enjoys onion-based remedies, whether it's onion tea, onion-infused drinks, or simply adding onions to your diet in large amounts, you need to be careful. My friend, your safety comes first. If you're on any blood-thinning medication, it's best to consult your doctor before using onions in any form. You can always look for alternatives like garlic, which may offer health benefits, without over-thinning your blood. But again, always check with your healthcare provider. Protecting your health means being mindful of how different foods interact with your medications. It's not worth taking the risk. Onions have become a popular ingredient in many home remedies for skin issues like scars, acne, and hair loss. You'll often hear people praising onion juice for its antibacterial and anti-inflammatory properties. But here's the thing. Not all skin reacts kindly to onions. In fact, if you have sensitive skin or conditions like eczema, using onion juice can do more harm than good. The sulfur compounds in onions, which are what give them their strong smell and powerful effects, can be too harsh for delicate skin. Applying onion juice directly to the skin might cause redness, itching, or a burning sensation. For someone with pre-existing skin conditions, this irritation can make things worse instead of better. For example, eczema, a condition that already causes dry, inflamed, and sensitive skin, can flare up painfully if exposed to such irritants. Let me tell you a quick story. I remember a friend of mine who tried onion juice on her face to lighten some acne scars. Instead of seeing the glowing results she hoped for, she ended up with red, itchy patches that lasted for days. It was a tough reminder that natural doesn't always mean safe for everyone. If you're dealing with sensitive skin, it's better to look for gentler alternatives. Aloe vera gel, for instance, is soothing and hydrating, while rose water can help calm inflammation. Always do a patch test before trying any new remedy. Your skin will thank you for it. And remember, my friend, not every trendy remedy works for everyone, and that's perfectly okay. The key is finding what works for your skin without causing harm. If you've ever chopped onions and felt a sting in your eyes or a burning sensation in your nose, you know how powerful their smell can be. For most people, it's just a minor annoyance. But for someone with asthma or breathing problems, it can be far more serious. The strong, sulfur-rich compounds released by onions, especially when cut or crushed, can irritate the airways and make breathing more difficult. For people with asthma, even small irritants can trigger symptoms like wheezing, shortness of breath, or chest tightness. Imagine inhaling onion vapors or using onion-based remedies, thinking they might help with a cold or congestion, only to find your airways becoming more inflamed. This can turn a well-meaning remedy into a dangerous trigger. The same applies to people with chronic respiratory issues like bronchitis or COPD, where keeping the airways calm and irritation-free is crucial. A story comes to mind. A friend of mine, who has asthma, once tried an old-fashioned remedy involving onions to clear her sinuses. Instead of feeling relief, she ended up with an asthma attack because the fumes were too strong. It was a tough lesson for her, and one she now warns others about. If you have asthma or breathing problems, it's best to avoid remedies that involve onions, especially those that require inhaling onion vapors. Instead, you can use gentler alternatives like steam inhalation, with a few drops of eucalyptus oil, or a saline nasal rinse to clear your airways. These options are far less likely to trigger an asthma attack or worsen your breathing. Your lungs are precious, my friend, so always prioritize what keeps them safe and healthy. The sharp, pungent smell of onions isn't just unpleasant for some. It can be a full-blown headache trigger. For people prone to migraines, certain strong odors, like those from onions, can set off an attack. Migraines are not your average headache. They can bring intense pain, nausea, sensitivity to light and sound, and even visual disturbances. If you've ever had one, you know how debilitating they can be. The compounds in onions that make them smell so strong, particularly sulfur compounds, are the same ones that can irritate your senses and trigger migraines. Even just being near freshly cut onions or inhaling their fumes for a few minutes might be enough to set off a headache. Now imagine using onions as a home remedy, perhaps applying onion juice or using onion vapors, and ending up with a pounding migraine instead of feeling better. I remember hearing about someone who used onion juice on their scalp to treat hair loss, only to find that the smell was so overwhelming it triggered a splitting headache. They swore never to go near onions for a remedy again. If you're someone who gets migraines or frequent headaches, it's best to steer clear of onion-based remedies. Opt for alternatives that are less likely to irritate your senses, like using peppermint oil or lavender oil for relaxation, both of which have been shown to help ease headaches. Remember, your comfort and health always come first, and avoiding potential triggers like onions is a simple way to prevent unnecessary pain. Remember, taking care of your health starts with understanding what works for your body and what doesn't. If you found this information helpful, make sure to share it with your friends and family on WhatsApp. Someone you know might be using onion remedies without realizing the potential risks, and you could be the reason they avoid unnecessary discomfort. Stay informed, stay healthy, and help others do the same.